It is actually happening, folks, as the Phoenix Suns go out and make a big time move, sending away one of their first round picks for multiple firsts. But not only is that happening, but this could be them gearing up to be aggressive to finally go and get Jimmy Butler, but also be able to move off some other bad contracts as well. And we need to dive into this as the Suns need a massive shakeup for their roster for Mike Budenholzer to really get this team in the right direction heading into the playoffs. Welcome back to Suns Digest. I am Bruce Velez with our new co-host, Curtis Jones. Curtis, how you doing? Say what's up to the Suns Digest family.
I'm doing good and I'm glad to be here, man. It's good to be here with you, Bruce. Bruce, you've been killing it. I've been watching your videos, man, and I'm just happy to be alongside you bringing the news for the Suns fans.
Awesome, Curtis. I really appreciate that. And the Suns fans, this is a new co-host for Suns Digest, Curtis. So give him some warm welcomes in the comment section. Welcome on board the Suns trade. He is also going to be doing videos alongside myself and doing some solo videos for you guys as well. So we hope that we can give you all the content that you still deserve. But Curtis, let's get into the video at hand and let's dive into it. As we mentioned, this Suns went out and made a huge move today involving a trade, and it wasn't with anybody on the roster, which you could think could be a little bit contradictory. But the Suns did go out and make a move with the Utah Jazz, where Shams Charania broke down that they sent their 2031 unprotected first, their only first round pick that they had under roster, for 3 first round picks. The Suns are acquiring the least favorable first in 2025 of the Cavs and Timberwolves, a 2027 pick of Cleveland, Minnesota, and Utah, and a 2029 pick of Cleveland, Minnesota, and Utah. And that's a lot of words, lots of teams, but ultimately the Suns went out and were aggressive as they went and got 3 future first and tripled their first rounder. So Curtis, when you see a move like this, how does it make you feel as a Suns fan, and what is running through your head?
So, I was looking at comments under these tweets, right? Looking at X and, Twitter, if you will.
Mhm.
Looking at the comments, and people were having these thoughts. They're like, why would we do that? Because the pick that we're giving away is a earlier round pick. And then we're getting a bunch of later round first picks, right? So it's like, is it a good move? It makes you wonder, is this the play? But obviously, we know what we're doing. Everyone's been keeping up with the Suns, been keeping up with the news. We're trying to make a big play and get Jimmy Butler. We just got more assets, more things to add to the table if that's what we're going to end up getting.
Nah, I think you kind of hit it on the nail, Curtis. I think the Suns are realistically gearing up for that Jimmy Butler trade, and we're going to dive into that a little bit later here in the video. But obviously, seeing them go out and make a move like this is very drastic. We all know that the Suns obviously had that one future first in that 2031 pick, the 2025 pick that they just received in that Charlotte Hornets trade from Charlotte Hornets. That's a Denver Nuggets pick, but those were the only picks that this team had under roster. So seeing them go and make a move like this clearly shows that they are still aggressive, they are hungry, and they are ready to pounce on the open market. So let's dive in and let's kind of get into that as we will. As we dive in and look as the aggressive push is starting now with this Phoenix Suns team. As like Curtis mentioned, this team is in full pursuit of Jimmy Butler. As we see from Ira Winderman, a Miami Heat beat reporter, he says that according to a source familiar with the Heat's plans, this is one of the steps toward a Jimmy Butler trade. Picks plus likely a pair of players then would come to the Heat for Jimmy Butler and would at least be a 4 team, if not more team deal, which is wild to think about. And as we see with the Suns gearing up for their next game tomorrow on the road versus the Brooklyn Nets, we know Yusuf Nurkic is out with the return to competitive reconditioning, which is just his illness while he's sitting in Phoenix. But Bradley Beal is now on the injury report with a ankle sprain. And we saw it earlier today in a video that we broke down, Bradley Beal being open to waiving his no trade clause. So Curtis, like we kind of got down and like we kind of broke down a little bit, is it starting to heat up? Do you think the Suns are going in this full aggressive mode right now?
We're definitely in the full aggressive mode. That's not even a question. I feel like quietly, more so than loud, they've been making it known that they're trying to make some plays. Right? We've already got one trade off, and you know that wasn't the last one. So we're looking to make a few plays out here, and I'm sure that this big team trade, even if, so let's go this route. If we're going to go get Butler, and this is a multi-team trade, I think we're going to get a couple other pieces in this too, right? So this is going to be a big play here. We're going to lose a few things, and people might not be happy about the things that we end up losing, but I think as a whole, we'll be better off for it.
No, I agree with you. I still think that this Suns team does have some holes. It has a lot of players that play a very similar role, like we've broken down. A lot of guards that can shoot the ball, a lot of guards that can play make, but they don't have many really great defenders or great rebounders on this team and good physical wings as well. And I do think that the Suns are going to kind of keep their eye out on the market. And even if they do acquire Butler, might have to send out some other guys, possibly like Grayson Allen, Tyus Jones, to kind of get some of those players, but maybe not to send them out for picks because I broke this down a little bit earlier and I want to get your thoughts on this with obviously getting these three picks, right? The Suns now obviously have a little bit more assets. Could you, I personally think that this could have some more ammo for the Suns, possibly able to move off a guy like Yusuf Nurkic, giving even more ammo for the Suns to move off a guy in Bradley Beal, and may have saved them from moving a guy in Grayson Allen or Tyus Jones just for that extra draft capital what that was needed. And Curtis, what are your kind of thoughts on that?
I think you're exactly right. I think that was I think this was done exactly so we don't have to get rid of players. You know what I mean? I mean, we're gonna have to get rid of Beal. Nurkic could go also, but Tyus, we're gonna have him around. Grayson Allen, we're gonna keep them around. I think the acquiring the trades and having more to put on the table was the whole purpose of this. We took one trade, one draft pick, and we turned it into multiple so we could diversify our assets. Beautiful play. I love it.
Exactly. And a guy like Danny Ainge for the Utah Jazz, as a person who lives in Boston, I know from Danny Ainge being the Celtics old GM that he's a guy that will take any draft capital asset. So he's viewing the Suns 2031 pick as, you know, a very favorable one in his eyes. The Utah Jazz had multiple picks from their deals with obviously Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert. So they were okay with obviously doing like this. They're banking on the Suns obviously to be out of the picture in 2031. But the Suns kind of going with a move like this, it kind of leads you to think that the Suns still think they'll be comparable now, but still think they'll be comparable in 2031 if they're able to still facilitate these moves, if they're able to get a Jimmy Butler, if that's the case, if they're able to sign a Kevin Durant extension and still be able to retool this roster on the fly going into next season.
My question to you. So I have two questions actually.
Okay.
First question is, if we do this deal and we acquire Jimmy, do you personally believe that that puts us, it makes us contenders? Do you believe that?
I think that it would put us into the conversation of contenders, but I
Okay.
do believe that the Suns would still have to make some more moves around the edges here, still be in that conversation. In the Western Conference right now, they are sitting at 500. They're not in a playoff spot at this very moment, and I do believe that not adding Jimmy Butler would definitely add to that. But obviously, I don't think it catapults them into a top three in the West type of conversation.
I agree. I agree. I think that it'll take time to grow. First off, but I'm kind of looking at it, and I'm still thinking, if we get Jimmy, it's still three ball dominant guys. It's still that same formula, and I don't know. I know Jimmy is Jimmy. I'm a huge fan of him, and he's gonna be able to get buckets. He knows how to win games, and with him alongside Kevin Durant, I feel like this may put Booker in a situation where Booker is playing so off ball, he's not going to get the same amount of buckets that he's getting at the moment. Now, with that being said, the reason I asked that question, I'm going to layer into my second question because the Suns are very quiet about what they're doing. So they're not telling us exactly what we're doing. We're all talking about Jimmy Butler because Butler is being so vocal. Who else do you think we could be aiming for in this deal? When we're making all these plays, this silent movement, what else do you think is out there that the Suns could be aiming for?
So I think that the Suns have kind of made it very vocal that this three guard lineup that Mike Budenholzer has been running with Tyus, Booker, and Beal just hasn't been working. So I don't believe they'd be looking for any guards or any players like that. I truly believe that they still need some defense on the wings. We see Ryan Dunn be a valuable defender. They also had Josh Okogie as well, but they just got rid of him. So maybe a guy to kind of replace that. And I think that's what kind of Butler brings. He obviously brings a voice in the locker room, brings some leadership, but also is going to bring that physicality on the defensive side at that wing position to help out with guys like Ryan Dunn and Royce O'Neal and stuff like that and Kevin Durant as well. And ultimately, I think he brings a mending relationship with Kevin Durant and Devin Booker as well. Kind of just another personality that can also go with those guys. Ultimately, trying to trade Beal, I think Butler is the only realistic star that they can kind of get. But if they weren't going to
Yeah.
move Bradley Beal and was just going to move, Yusuf Nurkic, Grayson Allen, guys like that, I would love to see the Suns go after a player in Obi Toppin. I don't know if he's available, but I think he's kind of the perfect fit for this Suns team. They need a little bit of a rebounder at the wing. They could use a little bit of a dunker there, filling in for Kevin Durant. I think he would be a nice asset. I've also been on a guy on Duop Reith as well. But what do you think?
You know, there's a few different routes that I would like to go. I was talking in one of the videos I made just to get myself in the door. I didn't get released, but I was talking about maybe getting a trade over to the Warriors. Maybe pick up Gary Payton Jr. Try to get Wiggins off of them. You know what I mean? Something like that. I don't know. I don't know. There's a lot of different ways to go. I mean, honestly, with the Spurs, try to aim for their young point guard, try to get him on the roster, have somebody that can play the ball. I mean, seriously, dude, like, we'll be able to if we can get a true point guard that's pass first, but he also can get buckets. That would make Devin Booker so much more lethal on the court. I mean, he's already good off ball, right? And then somebody else is facilitating. He doesn't have to think about that anymore. What does he have to think about? Straight buckets. So I don't know, man. There's a lot of different ways I think it could go. I don't know exactly what they're gonna do. I mean, like we said, Butler is the most likely, but there's different realms we could be entering.
I think that all possibilities for the Suns on the trade market are kind of out there right now. And I think with obviously seeing them be aggressive, making these moves already, going out and today trying to do these trades, I think we're going to see some things building up over this week. And I truly believe that we're going to see a move happening. Curtis, before we go, I want to get you a prediction here. Do you think Butler is going to be moved to the Suns? And if so, when do you think it will happen? And fans, drop down your predictions in the comments down below.
I will say I do. I'm 90% that I think it's going to happen. Okay. I think it's 90% it's going to happen. And since it's going to be so many teams that are going to be part of the trade, the fact that it's going to have to be such a large deal, I'm looking at it happening literally right before the close of the deadline. It's not going to, I don't think it's going to happen tomorrow, the day after. It's going to be dragged out a little bit.
All right, all right. So you think it's going to be dragged out a little bit. I'm going to go with the complete opposite. I agree with you that I think it's 90% he's going to be traded, but I think it's going to happen this week. I want Butler on this team right now. I want to end all the shenanigans, get him to where he wants, get him his money that he deserves, get this team shaken up and ready to go, going into the All-Star break, ready to go and ready to fight. But Curtis, this was an absolute fantastic first video to break down the Phoenix Suns, where we looked at obviously the Suns making a move, acquiring 3 future firsts that are going to help them set up to make some more possible moves in the future. Could it be Jimmy Butler? Could it be offloading Yusuf Nurkic? Could it be other potential suitors and guys on the market? We'll have to wait and see, but the Suns will be aggressive, and the trades I don't see coming to an end. So if you guys enjoy the content, let us know what you think down below in the comment section. Hit us with a like, hit us with a share, hit us with a sub, and let us know what you think down below. From your boys Bruce and Curtis from his first video today, you'll be seeing Curtis a lot more. We'll be back on some more videos. Catch you guys in the next one. Have a great rest of your night, y'all, and go Phoenix Suns. Peace out.